On today's Minute of the Apes, Richard took the time to show me what he does to his body on a daily basis. And I don't know if I can go back to talking about movies because I have seen feats of humanity that I'm like,
I hope we're talking about working out.
Yes. But seriously, I mean, damn.
Well, you should join us. We'll get you to do this kind of crazy, awesome, like bro sesh workout where we do deadlifts and bench press and squat cleans. We'll do heavy weights. We'll do body weight, above body weight, 75%. We'll just go back and forth. 1 rep for you, 1 rep for me, 15 minutes nonstop. Just pound away at it.
Wow. You know, I think let's talk about Minute of the Apes.
All right.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape! Exercise with an ape make a human down. It talks. We are the keepers of the divine bound. It is our only reason for survival. We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace. The only good human is a dead human! The Minute of the Apes. The Minute of the Apes. The Minute of the Apes. The Minute of the Apes.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. That's Richard. That's Sean. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock.
Minute
on Friday.
45 on Friday. Yeah, nothing. Nothing.
We are 4 minutes away from being halfway done with the movie.
Okay.
So by Thursday of next week, after we finish Thursday of next week, we will be halfway through the film.
Let's do the fun thing that we do from time to time. Sean has never seen the original films. Richard and I have. Does this film so far, approximately halfway through, does it fit what you kind of expected out of this? You did hear there was a time travel or something like that kind of movie in it.
Yeah, and you can tell that they are reacting to the budgets of the first two by saying, hey, no ape costumes in this one except for 2 people.
Right.
And we don't have to build any sets because we're going to be in the city. You know, every now and then we have to build an apartment, but we don't have to build a whole city to house our 3 different types of apes.
Or rent lights.
Or
No shit. Lighting budget? Who needs lights?
Or get people who know what an ape looks like and have them stuff in a costume. Yeah, stuff like that.
They could have just put this in. They could have put this in a Black Mariah. You know what a Black Mariah is, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what a Black Mariah was? When they first started making films, they literally built a house that was on like a Lazy Susan type thing where it spun and the roof of it would open. So wherever the sun was, they would turn towards it. The sunlight would come in and that's how they'd expose it.
They would use natural light. Yeah.
Oh, that's genius.
That's a Black Mariah.
Wow.
And so they should have built all the sets just on a Black Mariah and just really cut the budget way down low.
Wow. Yeah. That's really, really cool. So Sean, do you have any predictions about where this is going so far?
Well,
what are your thoughts?
know, I have a feeling because we are thinking that Hathline is the mustache twirling villain of this movie, that Zira and Cornelius are going to have a baby, or she's going to be pregnant and they're going to have to escape. And I don't know if there's going to be an underground society that takes them, underground railroad to get them to safety from Hathline and let them live out their lives in peace.
So technically the last minute was the revelation of the pregnant scene. We talked about the fact that they'd set up the hotel room as if it was a baby making. Mm-hmm. Did you think this is a place that the show was going to go? The movie was going to go? Is that something you heard or read or anything like that?
I think I knew that there would be a baby at some point, but it just they didn't show you the gun in the first act, so why are they pulling the trigger in the second act?
For those of you that don't get that, that's the old adage: when you kill somebody in a movie, you have to establish there has to be a gun at some point shown.
It works both ways. If you show a gun in the first act, you need to pull the trigger by the third act. Or if you're going to shoot somebody in the third act, you need to show what you're going to use that weapon with in the first act.
You have to plan on it, so it goes back to that it's a little odd that we didn't even see Zira get sick.
It would have been this thing. at the very beginning of the movie, and it would have been seen as a little bit of a comedy beat, but it would have worked. The army drives up, you see the spaceship there, then they get out of the spaceship, they take off their helmets, they can't believe it, they see each other, and then you see Zero.
Yeah, and they could have even played that off as the nerves of just getting out of space or anything like that.
Exactly. You start that with, oh my God, we just traveled through time and we crashed our ship and we're seeing humans and they're not stupid and they're driving cars that we've never seen before and they've got guns. Okay, we have guns.
Or you could even done the whole one instead of I loathe bananas. It could have been because my wife, when she was pregnant, literally the smell of Mexican food, which we both love Tex-Mex, she was like, I can't even be near it. She could have been.
Yeah, they could have been doing
the smell of it for some reason all of a sudden bothers me. You know?
Did we play the minute yet?
No, we haven't. We're just talking about
you were asking about my impressions of it. Yeah.
Okay, because
Richard
Richard
talk about it. No, it's sort of like, oh, wait a minute.
Richard's got shit to talk about. All right.
Well, we also know when Richard wants to say something because this is no offense to you. I've known you long enough that your smile doesn't affect me the way Richard does. I look over and he is just as cute as he can be over there smiling at me. I'm like,
is it my time? Can I say something?
I have to orchestrate. You can speak now, Richard. All right. So that Richard can feel good. Sean, tell us what's going on with minute 45 of Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
All right, at minute 45, we start with Zira saying, since well before the war, and ends with Zira well into her cups.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 45 of Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, since well before the war.
Do you mind if I smoke? Oh, no, I should not in view of your condition. Who won your war?
It wasn't our war. It was the gorillas' war. Chimpanzees are pacifists. We stayed behind. We never saw the enemy.
But which side won?
Neither.
But how do you know that if you went there, Zira?
When we were in space, we saw bright, white, blinding light. And then we saw the rim of the earth melt. And then there was a tornado in the sky.
As minute 45, we have a planet's worth of humans plus 2 living apes, 1 fetus, maybe getting damaged in utero, who knows, and 1 dead ape.
Damn. That was, of all the counts we've done,
that's
now the fetus, and that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
I want to talk about really good staging for once.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the size of Zira's sip. I just want to sip.
Well, it has to do with Zira and the sipping. Because the ape masks, they cannot drink anything. They can't do anything.
Get it right to their face.
So what do they do? But her hand cups the front of the glass, so we can't see the line of the liquid. And then when she brings it to her mouth, they cut to his reaction. So we finally get cuts, and then she takes it down. We never see
how much
what happened.
You never see her actually drink
because they can't do it. But it's smart. For all the knocks we've done on they should have done this and this, that one was like, oh, somebody really went, here's how we do it. It's a very easy little trick, and they trick it. Now, on top of that, once again, bitch, seriously, you cannot hold your liquor.
I just want one drink. One drink. I'm not going to stop until I finish this bottle. That's the drink.
So there was a line cut that she doesn't say.
Okay.
When he asked in the last minute, how long have you known? And she goes, since well before the war.
Mm-hmm.
She had a line, it was another reason for escaping. That was supposed to be in there. That would actually have been a really, really nice line to have in there.
Right.
To give us the sense that she was planning this for quite some time.
Yeah, I like
as opposed to since well before the war. That doesn't tell us... That doesn't give us any reason about her motivation for being there. That would have given us motivation why she and Cornelius were trying to leave.
You're right. And by cutting one line, you're not saving that much screen time, but I had the feeling that they were wanting to get to Hassline becoming the villain. I think they're wanting to flip that card and have it out there. And so at least when the war comes up, now he has a reason to be engaged and there's something sinister like, oh, y'all were fighting.
Well, yeah, but since well before the war is another reason for escaping. She says before the war that allows him to kind of move into mining her for information about her future that she hasn't told us, right?
Right.
She's only revealed what Milo's theories are about where they come from,
Poor
and
Milo.
nothing else about what was going on.
Actual
Right?
facts,
Not,
yeah.
well, a few little small details here and there.
Because she can say before the war, what kind of war is that? Is that war between chimps? Is that war between a man and ape? Is it war between
Well, it's funny you
gorillas
say
and
that because I thought the
orangutans?
same thing, and I thought he was very blasé by not
Like,
at
what
least
war? Yeah.
what war
What
was
happened?
who was involved.
Who
were
won your
were men
war?
involved?
He might be trying to be coy.
Maybe.
Who won your war?
Mhm.
You know, or there's a kind of it feels like a slip of information here somewhere that's muddled between the end of the last minute and the beginning of this one, that Dane seems to have some of the characters more aware of things than they necessarily should be aware of.
Yeah.
Or the revelation that she's pregnant, and apparently Dane has planned the entire time that she's been pregnant since before the war. Like, it's not like a shock. It's a little bit of a shock that we're discovering it now, but he apparently has planned this and shown us nothing about it earlier.
Yeah.
Nothing. Except for the baby equipment in the hotel room, but that was still, we were thinking baby making. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like she asked for those things. I don't know.
And then at least Hasline was nice. Do you mind if I smoke? And I wanted to go, as long as you don't burst into flames.
So he says, the original line in the script was, Hasline draws up a chair, takes a lighter and cigarette case from his pocket, then checks himself. Zero drinks during. Forgive me, in view of your condition, I shouldn't smoke.
Well, you know, smoke is bad for a pregnant woman, but not booze.
Well, they rephrase it to say, do you mind if I smoke? And then the concern, oh no, I shouldn't, you know, based on
Right.
your condition. Like, it was interesting, like I shouldn't, like he
Well,
was
he-
giving her the warning and then going for it, and this time going for it and then just kind of subtly suggesting, I shouldn't.
Well, I think
she doesn't know the difference,
Well,
does
yeah,
she?
but that's also because so we can have an excuse to have his cigarette box out.
Well, so
Yeah, that's all it is.
What does the audience see? Because they don't, I mean, if they've watched the film, they know what happens, but the audio doesn't reveal what's going on.
No.
No.
Go ahead. No, you please
I
go.
was going to say he pulls out a cigarette case and he was going to smoke. He puts it down. You find out it's a secret recorder.
Yeah, what your eye's drawn to is that it's a silver cigarette case. He opens it, and in the middle, you see his hand slide a switch of some sort, and that's when you notice that I think it's to the right of
Yes,
the
on the right side.
right side, you see that there's actually tape inside, which
It's like a cassette tape in 1972, and I'm
Yeah.
like, motherfucker, that's amazing.
I
Yeah,
think that
but
was
I
an
don't think
eight-plate.
there's any equipment in there to do any recording. I think it's just enough equipment to turn the
But
the
it
That's
looked
wheel.
like
exactly what I thought. They put enough of a little pulley in there to make the shit turn, but
Yeah.
there's no head to
There's
record.
no head to record or anything.
True,
yeah.
but it was before like cassette tapes existed in this way. I mean, this is well ahead of its time.
How snobby are we getting when we live in a day when somebody just all you'd have to do is just slide his phone on and it record for him?
You wouldn't
Back
really
then-
need, you wouldn't need to see much.
Right. But I mean, that goes into why I said that I feel like if he walked in with that cigarette case where he could, record stuff, he at least knows that he is positioned and ready to get evidence should something occur.
Cassette tapes were invented in 1962.
Thank
All
you.
right, well, there you go. That makes sense.
So, well, if you think about it, the audience had to be well educated enough to know what they were looking
Yeah.
at should they see that. But if
But you know,
he's
it's
not
probably one of those because we came off of 8 tracks back then, so it's not like we're not used to magnetic tape at a home usage.
Right.
So this is something they might be seeing as a little bit more of a future tech.
sure.
But yeah,
But again, he has that with him. He is prepared. Now, you can also say he's just a sneaky individual who probably carries that with him everywhere. But I have that feeling that he kind of had the idea that he could cuddle up to Zira and play nice with her and start getting the information that he wants.
I have a feeling this is not the first time he's been either recording her or people in general.
In the Me Too era,
Yeah.
Hasline is definitely not going to pass
Yeah.
muster.
So he went with her to the Natural Museum, obviously at some point to try and get information out of her. He saw an opportunity when she fainted and she said she was pregnant. He then is trying to sabotage the baby by smoking around it and giving her wine while plying her for information about the war and her future or the future. Kim Hunter, or sorry, Zira goes from 0 to drunk
Yeah, in 2 steps.
in 2 seconds. It wasn't our wars, the guerrillas' war. Chimpanzees are pacifists.
Pacifiers.
But I will say this, like she put so much movement in that face mask.
Yeah.
going up and down and bobbing her head and kind of moving around so much that I kind of almost wondered if this was its own mask specifically so she could get kind of that deep movement of squinchy eyes and all that stuff. I don't think that it is, but she worked that mask in these minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be surprised if it was specifically made for it. I am almost done with, I showed you guys that book that I got about